I'm working on a collab project today with Steve from TronicsFix. If you came here straight from his video, welcome! If you're starting with my video, first of all, I would like to say, that's a really good life choice. Second of all, I'd like to say, you're welcome to stay with me and then go over to TronicsFix afterwards. It probably doesn't matter which order you watch these in. What we have here today is a Nintendo Switch that was in a house fire. The console itself wasn't burned, but it was filled and stained with smoke and it quit working. Steve worked on the repair and he sent this to me for the clean. So let's take a look at what we're going to be dealing with today.
Before we even get started, I'm going to set this fan aside because Steve left a note saying that it is going to need to be replaced. So we're going to have one item out of this that we're going to have to switch with a new part. About half of this disassembly has already been completed by Steve, so we're just going to finish the job and get everything taken apart here. Always want to make sure to trip the gates before pulling out these ribbon cables. And with these speaker cables, want to grab the base of the cable that's meant to be pulled out and not the root where it is connected. Here's our motherboard. It doesn't look too bad, but it definitely needs cleaned and it smells pretty bad. Just carefully get this ribbon cable off of here. I know I'm using some pretty beefy pliers here, but I am being careful to get these parts out of here gently. I've actually never taken apart a Nintendo Switch dock before, so I'm excited about this. And we could have taken this flap off at the beginning, but let's go ahead and get it now. There's a couple little clips here holding this on, and here's one of these cables that we want to gently grab the base of. I need to get into a couple of tight places here, so we're going to switch to this Phillips driver. And now we can remove this part of the housing unit here, making sure to get our cables through those openings. And this part will just kind of lift off, as well as this part just slides down and out. Cool. Let's get these out of the way, including our light diffuser here. Looks like we have 4 more Phillips screws here, and then we can get this part removed. I think this just keeps dust from getting down inside of the dock. And we almost have this dock completely disassembled. Just this one spring that we're gonna push down and try to release from out of there. Alright, now we have our 2 Joy-Cons. I did another video where I disassembled 18 of these and put them back together, so I'm not going to show this process step by step. We'll just fast forward it, and if you're interested in watching each part of this process in slower motion, feel free to search for that video in my channel. This battery is kind of fat, which tells me it needs to be replaced. So like I said, we are going to replace 2 parts out of this. I don't think this Dawn dish detergent bath is going to do too much to remove the stain or the smell, but this is the first step in our cleaning process, so let's put this stuff into soak and then we can come back to it here in a little bit. I'm going to use my IPA and makeup brush here to do sort of a surface clean on this motherboard. I don't see any major visible staining, but the smell definitely got on this board as the smoke worked its way throughout this system. I'm going to remove this because I will end up replacing all of the thermal paste inside of here. I don't usually use my BW100 quite as liberally as this, but I really want to rinse out these hard to reach places and at least try to get some degree of clean inside of there. On this board we actually got some staining that we can see here, so I'm going to saturate it with my IPA and then give it a little bit of work with a cotton swab and try to lift that off of here. I'll also bring my toothbrush into this project to just really try to work at that. It's hard to tell on any black surface whether or not we're lifting off any stain because it's the same color. But if I just give this a go over with my cotton swab now, I should be able to tell if I'm getting anything. And taking a look here, we can see I think I have it clean enough. It passes the white cotton swab test. I obviously want to give these a good surface clean like everything else, but beyond that I want to be sure to get down inside of this joystick with my BW100 and give it a good rinse. Dirt can get inside of here and build up in these so easily, so it's always a good idea to rinse them out when you have them apart. This is really stained here, but you can tell if I put some IPA on here and then really press my cotton swab into it that I don't get any color to come out from it. So I think that's about as good as I'm going to get it clean. One of the smelliest parts of this entire project is this AC adapter here. I'm just giving it a good surface wipe with my microfiber cloth with some IPA on it, but it's definitely not getting rid of the smell completely. All right, we are ready to clean our main part of our system here, our screen with our battery and speakers still attached here. So we're just going to get some IPA all up in this business and give it a good surface clean, reaching as many of these crevices as we can get. And here's what it looks like after it's done. The screen definitely has some marks on it, but it did come out pretty clean and smells a lot better, unlike most of the rest of the parts that I'm working with. So I feel pretty good about it. Let's get back to our soapy water bath here and start to at least do the first level of clean that we need to do on all of these pieces. Kind of using our different levels of brush abrasiveness here. Can you hear the semi-truck going by in the background? Where our office is located is just one of those things where we're next to a road where they come and slow down and put on their engine brakes. Alright, I think we have found all of the pieces inside of here. I can already sense the mob preparing their torches and pitchforks to come hunt me down for the monster I am, but I am going to try using my magic eraser to get some of the stain off of this. Gentle light pressure here at first. Hard to tell maybe through the camera, but to the naked eye it's not doing anything, so I'm just going to increase it a little bit. And I realize that I am probably going to damage this while I'm doing it. And yes, I am starting to wear away at the side there at that finish. I'm just curious at this point how much pressure I need in order to be able to get the stain, and if there is a sweet spot where I can only remove the stain but not the finish on the outside of this plate. I don't think that sweet spot exists. So I'm just going to go a little bit further here to show you what happens if you abuse the magic eraser. Looking at it here with the naked eye, it does look nice. It's a much brighter blue, but it's not the color it should be. It's actually the color it is on the back side, which is not what we're looking for. There is another finish color that's on the outside here. If we compare it to another used plate here, we can see the color that we should be achieving, the finish on the outside here. So we're going to get all of these plates here and some replacement used ones. And like I said, we are only going to have 6 parts that we need to replace on this switch.
So we're dealing with a few issues with this project at this point. The smoke stain is visually so heavy to remove, but beyond that, something that I probably could ignore just for the video, but I can't ignore in real life, is the smell. If I ever have hope of using this or giving it to somebody or selling it, I can't do that in good conscience with the way that it smells right now. I have a little bit of time on this project before it needs to go live, so we are going to try some different methods of removing this smell. And the first one with all of these parts is just going to rely on good old Mother Nature.
So we are just going to go outdoors here, bring the parts and set these things kind of in the shade and some of these black pieces in the sun and allow it to go to work. I want to introduce you to our inspiration, Jax. Every time he comes back from playing outside, we notice he smells so good. Nature has a way of neutralizing odors. Not that he ever smells bad, but he smells great after being out here. So let's give it some time. The outdoors did the trick on most of those pieces, but I want to try some experiments with these plates while we have them, just to see what would have happened if we'd used some different chemical approaches. The first thing that I want to try is oven cleaner, just spraying a little bit of this on here. I'm not expecting it necessarily to lift the stain, but I am wondering if, because it's designed to clean the inside of dirty ovens, if this will help get rid of the smoke smell. We'll just keep giving this a good scrub here and rinse it off. And you can see the stain is definitely still there, and it also did not help the smell. The next thing we're going to try is a 50-50 combination of baking soda and white distilled vinegar, as has been suggested in my comments for different projects, as well as just a quick Google search on how to remove smoke smell from plastics. I'm going to just work some of this in here and we'll see if it helps with the staining at all. It might. But again, the biggest thing that I'm worried about is that smell at this point. So I think we are going to need to go in a little bit higher dosage here and allow it some time to soak and set on top of it. So let's mix up quite a bit more of this stuff. So let's put our parts inside of here and just give them some time to sit with this solution. It's really hard to see on camera, but the staining is definitely still there. And the smell. So Mother Nature did a good job on our black pieces and the rest of our stuff even in the shade, but I didn't find a good chemical solution for removing the smell. So I will look to the comments to see if any of you have any other ideas that we could try. In the meantime, let's just get this reassembled and see what we have at the end here.
So we're all done cleaning this. I tested it. I know how it's working, but I'm not gonna spoil that for you in case you haven't watched Steve's video yet. I wanna encourage you, if you haven't already, go over to TronicsFix channel, find his video, and see how he did with the repair. If you've stayed with me this long, I'm assuming you are either asleep or you are so dedicated to Restorage that you make it to the entire end of the video before you turn it off. And if you have done that today, I have a special request for you. If you've watched some of my other more recent videos, you may be aware that I've been experimenting with a new camera setup, which I used for the first half of this video. The second half of the video, I switched back to my old system because I wanted to be able to see within one single video the difference and whether or not I was just imagining the loss in quality that my new setup was giving me. So if you've both made it this far and are the type person who is willing to comment and engage and have an opinion or even want to go look back and compare some of that stuff, I made the switch over at the time where I moved to doing those outdoor recorded shots. So again, thanks for watching to this point, and if you are one of those people who has an opinion and would like to share with me what you think of the video quality as it switches at that point in the video, please leave a comment and let me know what you think. And with that, I think this video has gone long enough, so I'll let you go and we'll see you next time. Also, did anyone notice that the process of this video took me a good month? And during that time, I didn't get a haircut. So within this one video, you can literally see me age 1/12 of a year.